Hi everybody, let's talk about web services. So what is web service? Let's just break down this term. Web means internet and service means API because it's serving us. It's just like that waiter in the hotel who is serving us, who is in between the kitchen where food is preparing and us who is waiting for the food eagerly, right? So it's between us. It's like a waiter. API is like a waiter where we hit at the API and it serves us. We request to the API and then I told you what is an API actually. API is that it's an interface you can say where we hit then program runs in an application. It's the place where we tell the program to run inside an application. That's the API. So we basically request for something to the API. We request for something and it runs the program and then gives us the response back. So that's the API, right? So it's servicing, right? It's providing us the service. That's why service means the API here. Service is an API, right? So can you just see what is the web service now? That API, web services are those APIs which are using internet. API which are using internet to serve us. So what do you mean? There are some APIs which are not using internet too? Yeah, there are. So APIs which are using internet are called web services, but there are other APIs which are not using internet. So those are only APIs. Those are not web services. So can I say this that API is a big circle and inside there is a sub part which is web services. Not every API is a web service, but every web service is an API, right? Right? Every web services are inside APIs only. Okay. Now, I think you have heard of the term JSON, right? JSON and REST, these things, and XML. So, and also XML RTC. Have you heard about these terms? If not, JSON and XML are the formats in which data is being sent to the API and from the API. It's taken from the API in the form of JSON and XML and it sent to the API in the form of JSON and XML. So these are the formats, right? And what is REST, SOAP, and XML RTC? These are the frameworks. REST framework, I think you have heard about Django REST framework. That's the REST framework. So what are those frameworks? Frameworks which are used to put the request basically. We are requesting API for something. We are sending our request to the API. So how we are sending that? Am I going there to the API and telling the API that please just do this for me? No, it is not happening, right? I'm requesting it by just sitting here. How I'm doing that? I'm using REST framework to do that or SOAP framework to do that, right? I'm writing some queries. I'm sending some request and getting some response. So how? In the by using the framework, REST framework, SOAP framework, or XML RTC. Now I'll tell you, SOAP and XML are not used now. REST is the most used framework because Django REST framework is also REST-based framework. So I'll tell you why REST is used now, and also in between these, what is used now and what is not. I'll tell you in the next video. Okay, then let's meet in the next.